But, you talk about having those children young and, in reality you did. And I mean, how much did that influence your then drive to go and do something? Like, if you hadn't had the children, would you have been happy to, I don't want to say coast, because coast is the wrong word. Would you just been happy to keep climbing that retail ladder slowly but surely, or?
I knew deep down it was, I don't want to sound snobby, but I just knew it wasn't for me. It wasn't, I wanted more. I do think the kids, what I had, so they've got two different dads, I'll be honest, and they were the typical bad boys, and they made me feel like I needed them. I was brought up in an Italian family, used to say, you need a rich man, and that used to make me feel a bit uncomfortable because it was pressure. Oh my God. And then when you think you find someone with a bit of money and they'll look after you, you feel reliant on that person and they've got control over you and they can manipulate you. And I feel like that's the kind of road I was going down. And my mum was relying on somebody. So I was brought up, and my dad was a massive letdown. He ran businesses. He was, very, very good. He was a very likable character. He ran his business crap. I'll say it. He was rubbish. I used to go, what's he doing? What's he doing? Why is he not bookkeeping properly? Why is he not, paying his suppliers? But obviously there was, he was a bit of a gambler, ducker and diver, and it frustrated me as a kid. So I think some of that, when I look back, must have nurtured in me to think, actually, this is how to run a business, and this is, I want to provide for my kids when they're older if they need me. I don't think you should just live for your kids. But I do think I wanted to prove that you can just be real, run the business properly. You don't have to duck and dive and be successful at it.
Do you find that being a woman in business has been, I don't want to say a benefit. Have you found it easier or more difficult? Because I had a conversation this morning with somebody, and it was a very tough conversation where they said, you were born white and male, which is an enormous privilege in the business world. And that's a hard conversation to have.
Yeah, it is.
So how do you feel that's impacted what you're doing? Because I think the majority of accountants that you would typically, if you said, what does an accountant look like? It is that white old man.
And to be honest, I don't think about it too much. I haven't, if you think about it and go, whoa, well, I didn't get that job because I'm a woman. Or I should have worn a skirt that day. You can't think like that. I didn't think like that. I remember going to an event with Charlotte, and obviously we were really done up, and this guy was like, oh my God, you two don't look like accountants. That was quite nice. I thought, oh, that's different. But I didn't think about it, and you've got to not think like that because it can play on your mind in a negative way, I think. I don't compare. I'm very good at not comparing.
I think a lot of people, especially young women, do look at that almost as something that will stop them from getting out there like you have done.
Yeah, of course it will. I obviously I post a bit more so I post stuff like my leggings and crop top or my pants on Instagram, I'll be honest, as a woman, because I train hard and I just think I like seeing other women do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought, oh, could I do it? Should I post it? Just post it. Then I think, it doesn't mean I want an inbox. It just means I'm proud of achieving, after having kids as well, you can achieve much more than you think. That's all it is. And I remember thinking, I don't want it, I'm not doing it for inboxes. And it's the same on LinkedIn. I post some stuff and then I think, oh, but I am a show off. It's the same. If you're going to put on there, deal with it and just don't let it bother you too much. So I don't overthink it. I don't want to name and shame. Ignore or block. Simple as that. Don't over worry about it.
It was interesting you were saying about your mum was reliant on somebody, and you were almost raised to be reliant on somebody. Yeah. And to some extent you probably were for a while.
Yeah.
Who and dad either wasn't around or wasn't a good figure to look up to. So who did you look up to when you was growing up? Famous or real in your life? Was there anyone?
Nobody famous, but my uncle. So my dad's sister married my uncle, and he set up a restaurant business in Beeston.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember watching their business grow, develop. It's been going 15 years and feeling dead proud. and they had a nice, comfortable life and did lovely things, and feel that I want that. So that's one positive. You know, I'm really close to my dad. I don't see my dad, but I'm really close to my auntie, really close, and she's always been a really good like encourager. I know she thinks, because she's the traditional, doesn't work much, and he looks after her and the typical family of that lifestyle, because she's Italian, he's Iranian. Honestly, they're a fantastic, amazing partnership, family, love it. But then I discovered I do like Joe Wicks. I know I've shared that before, right? What I love about Joe Wicks is he's very personal, but he struggled for years, and I feel like we're very similar in that respect. And that's my only person I can feel at the minute, top of my head, who inspires me, who I genuinely think is a real person.
And I think the entrepreneur thing is a massive buzzword, and it is so proliferated through social media. I remember a few years ago, there was a list called, and it was the top 25 entrepreneurs in this particular region and this particular thing, and I was on the list of top 25, and I was super proud, super happy.
Yeah.
Lovely. I was very, very pleased. And then the next year it went from the top 25 to the top 50.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I was still in the list, great.
Yeah.
And then the following year it was the top 250 entrepreneurs. And I looked at it, I go, there's not 250 entrepreneurs in this locality. And you look at it, and it was, you know, Sally that owned a corner shop.
Oh, right.
You know, John the plumber, and there was, you know, Steve the guy that owned, you know, a hair salon or whatever it might be.
Right, okay.
And it was business owners.
Yeah, sure.
And I think the two things are slightly different. I mean, do you see a difference between business owner and entrepreneur?
I do, yes. I think entrepreneurs are more creative, want to do everything themselves. And even though you can't, not in themselves personally, if they want to do marketing, they want to do it under their own name.
Mm-hmm.
Want to do everything under their own name. That's how I feel. So when Charlotte's coming up with an idea for payroll, and I'm like, well, why can't we just do it? And we'll get someone in, and we'll do this, and we'll do it that way, and we'll charge it like this. But then you can't. So it's that creative mindset. I think I've just made this up on the spot because I don't really get what an entrepreneur is. But it's all about not just stopping at one business, maybe, and a risk taker, and not playing it safe in business. What do you see it as then?
I think the pure definition is that risk taker.
Yeah.
Right. And yes, it might be a risk to start a corner shop or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But it's doing something differently.
Yeah.
And going all in.
Yeah.
And I've probably only got one person, I would say, over the last 10 years that I've looked up to or not aspired to, but looked up to in terms of someone I would consider a mentor, even though it's unofficial. I've got him on the podcast soon. And I look at what he's done and go, wow. Right. And we had a call the other day, and he said, but you've overtaken me. I go, well,
you won't see it like that either.
I don't see it like that at all.
No.
At all. In some respects, it's true. And we've debated long and hard over whether entrepreneurs are born or made. Right? I think in my opinion, they're very much made. I think it's a lot of circumstance.
Yeah, probably.
You know? I think if you find yourself in the right company, the right organization, with the right people around you, you know, there's lots of spin-offs of the word entrepreneur, right? There's the intrapreneur, for example.
Yeah.
Entrepreneur within a company. I've got so many of those here. We've got some incredible people that come up with some wicked ideas. And the best thing I can do with that is nurture those ideas. You've got an idea, bring it to me, let's discuss it.
I'd do that with our team.
Let's run with it. And we've got some things that we've launched here that were 100% the ideas of other people.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what you want.